Evening, everyone. It's Tom Sidney Bushnell, aka Numbers, or as people like to call me, Tom Numbers. Welcome to Sight Club, the Tom Numbers Show, and News with Tom Numbers. And I've got my buddy ISMAEL Perez. ISMAEL, how are you, mate?
I am well, Tom. I'm here in Southern California, and it's been hot for the last few days, so I'm enjoying this hot weather out here.
Good on you, man. Nice, yeah. Well, California's 88 in the numbers, so that's Trump. So you're enjoying some Trump time, some heat. He always talks about bringing the heat. It's hot, so yeah, bring it on. And heat is actually 34 DJT, Grace. So heat 34, California 88 Trump. So you got it there, man. So what's been happening? How have you been?
I've been great. I've just been taking some time off. I haven't really been doing many interviews lately. I'm trying to slow down. I've been just spending more time with my family right now, and I'm still doing I guess I have a break before I do my next conference. So for the next couple of months, I'm probably just going to focus on my own inner journey as I continue to evolve spiritually. You know, that's a never-ending process. Some people ask me, well, Ishmael, you know, you have so much knowledge. I mean, how long does it take to evolve to that level of consciousness? And I say, I'm still evolving. I'm still learning. My cup's still empty. There's always going to be more to learn. So I have these phases, brother, where I go into hermit mode. I really don't do much, like, you know, where I'm out doing interview after interview anymore, in order to just kind of get more information and get more downloads and continue expanding my spiritual journey on this path.
Yeah, you got to, man. You got to take a bit of time. I mean, because otherwise it'd be like 24/7, 369 days a year. No, I'm just joking, but I'm just putting that in. Yeah, you do. I've had a bit like that, actually. I'm still doing videos, but maybe not at the same rate. You know, sometimes you just got to kind of, we still exist in this reality. We've still got to make things happen and things to take care of, and you can sometimes forget about that stuff. But you know, so, and enjoying the weather, enjoying the season that we're in, enjoying the summer. So it's all
is it hot over here as well?
It's not super hot, but it's been pleasant. Yeah, I love the good weather. I'm not the biggest fan of super hot. I mean, earlier in the week the beaches were full, a lot of people were here, and then we had a little bit of drizzle. Yes, what are we today? We're I think Friday, maybe a bit of drizzle. Yesterday was nice. I went to I was going to say Stonehenge. I didn't go to Stonehenge. I went to Glastonbury Tor. Are you familiar with Glastonbury?
I've heard of it. I heard it was a sacred site. Glastonbury?
Yeah, I've never been there until, well, in this lifetime I haven't been there. But I went yesterday and I went again this evening because I did a little video, but it was too windy. So I don't know, I may just put it out and let people watch, but they'll go, oh, it's too windy. It's like, well, if you tune in, you can hear it, but it's a beautiful video. So last night I got to see the sun setting and I saw the moon coming up. And the interesting thing is that, as you saw, basically it was almost like a straight line between the sun and the moon. And the moon is full tonight. It was almost full last night. So there's just a sliver. But the interesting thing is, if the sun's directly shining onto the moon, why is there a sliver of shade? And it's like, that didn't really make sense. And there's lots of things that don't make sense about it. But I spoke to some people up on the tour, and they were in agreement. They're like, yeah, there's, you know, but it was a beautiful place, and you do feel the energy. That's why I went again tonight. It was more overcast tonight, so I only went there quickly. But it's amazing. Yeah. The interesting thing about it in the numbers is I met some people actually up there that recognized me. They're like, you're Tom Numbers. I was like, yeah. So anyway, we chatted, we hung out. They showed me some sites. They showed me, apparently there's an egg up there. You're drinking invisible water. It just went invisible.
Invincible, yeah. It's actually Mountain Valley. It's the purest water there is, and it's in a glass form, so it doesn't have the chemical stuff that comes out of the plastics.
Yeah,
it's really good for you. It's natural. naturally alkaline, about 7.5 alkaline water. Yeah, I was told that drinking water out of plastic bottles is no bueno, my friend, because it's a
Yeah,
lot of the chemicals coming off of the plastic melts
yeah. You can taste it
with
when
the
it's hot.
bottle, and people drink those exactly. So the best water to drink is out of a glass.
Yeah, I agree. And you know what? Interesting. Their mountain is 107 quantum, and valley is Christ 77. So that's comes to 184, which comes to fifth dimension. The fifth dimension 184, but it also comes to fourth density. Dolores Cannon talks about that, but it also comes to Princess of Wales 184. And I was saying, so yesterday when I was up on the tour, the people that recognized me, girl called Alex, she was with James, and she said, oh, she reminded me it was Diana's birthday. I was like, oh, so I had to do a Twitter post on it, and I put that out. And these are some of the numbers, buddy. So it's interesting. You just showed it up there. 184 is Princess of Wales, and it was her birthday yesterday. But I think it's worth mentioning. So Lady Diana would have been or is 62 yesterday on July 1st. If you do 62nd birthday, or if you do 62, it comes to Queen. You know, a lot of people feel that she should be Queen of England or will be. 62nd birthday is 244, which is witness protection, and I think that's where she's been. Glastonbury, where I was when I did this, is 154. That comes to Queen of Hearts, and she was known as the Queen of Hearts. Comes to the second coming. It comes to a happy birthday. So we're wishing her a happy birthday. But Lady Diana Spencer comes to 151, comes to Jesus Christ. And you said about Glastonbury being a sacred site. People talk about how Jesus apparently visited there. And there's this place, a big boulder with a marking on it, and they say that's an egg and there's 3 trees, which is where Jesus was apparently. But we went and found it. We went and looked at it. The other thing about it is I did the numbers on this. I said Jesus was a magician. It was 175, comes to consciousness, comes to Diana Frances Spencer. And you talked about evolving consciousness and how do you do that? You said it's an ongoing journey.
It is.
And then I saw some other numbers with it. July is 68, which is Barron. A lot of people feel that she could have been or is married to President Trump, and Barron's their son. So July 1st comes to 140, comes to the Trumps, comes to Tom numbers, comes to the Apprentice, comes to the military, comes to the quantum, comes to the atonement, comes to Aquarius magic, comes to the eternal life. And the 1st of July comes to 194, which comes to September 11th, which is New Yorker Hotel. But a lot of people say that September 11th was the original birth date of Jesus, of Christ. So there's just a lot of things with it. July 1st is the 182nd day of the year. 182 comes to the flux capacitor, which is the piece from Back to the Future. The Queen of Hearts again is 187, if you add that. And I was thinking of the flux capacitor, and I went past this place, not Primrose Hill in London, but another one. But the Primrose Hill was 187. Anyway, you add them together, it comes to 369, the Tesla numbers, which comes to Diana Frances Spencer. The 1st of July comes to 369. So there's a Tesla element, and Tesla, 57 magician, 57 England. So there's a whole bunch of codes yesterday that came up with going to that place. And I really enjoyed it. It was far more impressive than I thought it would be. And I would say that there's definitely a sacred site. And maybe there's been both things on there, but there's definitely an energy to the place. Yeah. And a lot of people up there, chanting and beating drums and fires and people dancing. And it's a very kind of free-spirited place. I think you'd enjoy it if you came to visit. It's a place I'd recommend. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, sounds very interesting. Now, how does King Arthur and Merlin fit into this fair?
That's very good, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, because I've come to understand that the holy blood which led to King Arthur, which is the same blood as Jesus, gave birth to Princess Diana Spencer, and it's also the bloodline in which the Trumps and the Kennedys come from.
Say this again, Ishmael. Say this again. Okay.
So the holy bloodline,
yes,
comes from Jesus, gave us King Arthur, which is the same lineage that later gave us the Princess of Wales, Diana.
Yes,
right? Diana Spencer as well. There you go, Spencer, right? And then as well as Donald Trump or the Trumps and the Kennedys. The Kennedys, that's why they're all related by virtue of the same bloodline. So
Right.
when you think about this war that's taking place between the cabal and the White Hats, it's really a war of bloodlines. It's always been a war of the bloodline. You know, one of the bloodline that is associated with the kingdom of I guess what we call the kingdom of King David, which
Yeah.
is, you know, Jesus, King Arthur, Diana, the Trumps, the Kennedys, have always been oppressed throughout all of history. You see some sort of an attempt to eliminate that lineage.
Yes.
So recently, the Nazis, you know, because they've always associated the Jews with the house of David, so that's why they try to kill off all the Jews, because they were trying to put an end to the bloodline. But if you go even further before the Nazis, you had all throughout the Dark Ages, you have the Inquisitions. Well, who was running the Inquisitions? Who was at the head of the Inquisitions? The Roman Litigate, the Roman Catholic Church. And who was at the head of that? The cabal. You know, so it seems like there's always been a hit on the bloodline that led to the Trumps, that led to the Kennedys, that led to Diana, and that led to people like yourself and myself and others.
Yeah.
You think, you know,
It's so interesting you said that, because about the bloodline. So you're right, there is a lot of stuff with Arthur there. There's an abbey. They say that King Arthur's remains are there. I didn't get to see that on this occasion or these two occasions, but I was doing the numbers on it. So Avalon is also another name for Glastonbury, apparently.
right? Yeah, that's true.
So
Kingdom of
Avalon, yeah, and you got Roxy Music singing the song Avalon, and a lot of their stuff is ravens. There's a lot of symbolism in their album covers. But so Avalon is 65, which is doves. If you do Glastonbury Tor, so Tor is Tor, not Tour, but Tor, which is the kind of the mount, the sacred mount, the hill, the mountain, dare I say. But that comes to 207, which comes to White Dove Society. And if you drop the 0, it takes you to 27, which is JFK, which is code, which is red. But also, if you do, and if you do A is 1, Z is 26, the alphabet letters, and you just sum together, that will come to 27 as well. But looking at Avalon is 65 doves. So I looked at this, I looked at King Arthur. King Arthur is 127, which comes to the Ace of Spades, which comes to November 5th, 5th. November 5th is significant in Back to the Future. If you say Diana Francis, if you say Diana Spencer Trump, 197, that comes to the 5th of November. Comes to Every Last Secret, and there's a picture that you might have seen it. There's an Instagram post from Sylvester Stallone from Rocky, and he's got a woman behind him, and she's holding up a book. It's covering her face. It's a green book, and it looks like Diana's hand, but Every Last Secret is the title of the book. And that comes to 197, which comes to Diana Spencer Trump. And it comes to the 5th of November. And we've always been told to remember the 5th of November. But King Arthur, but if you do King Arthur, that's 127, the 5th, November 5th, 5th. But if you do King Arthur Avalon, this is really interesting. It comes to 192, which comes to Ivanka Marie Trump. And you're talking about the bloodline. And some say that Ivanka is the daughter of Donald and Diana. I don't know if that's the case, but they say that, and it feels like. So I met her. She's the one that activated me. And this is the interesting thing about Jesus Christ. So you've heard it many times. A lot of people feel that when Christ comes back, it's the Christ consciousness that returns to everyone. But if the avatar of a Christ comes back, they're saying that Christ actually could be a woman, could be a female, you know, the divine feminine. So if you do Lady Diana Spencer, that comes to 151, which comes to Jesus Christ. If you do Ivanka Nazareth, for example, it could be other things as well, but if you do Ivanka Nazareth, just say for argument's sake, that also comes to 151, which comes to Jesus Christ. And so maybe if she's the daughter of Diana and Donald, that would make sense that she's in the bloodline that you just mentioned. And she basically activated me. You know, I met her. I got some impressions of numbers around the time my cousin Paul died in 2015. I didn't know the alphanumerics, but I knew it was his date of birth that was speaking to me. But it all coincided with when I met her. Mm-hmm. And even when I look at the picture, there's all codes on that. So it's like, yeah, what is this with the bloodline? What is this with the DNA? You know, and I do think it's all been set up beforehand. But it's so interesting that you went down that thread of the bloodline with the Kennedys and the Trumps. And so another thing you said was, what was it you said just before that about 129? There was another thing that came up. Can't remember. I have to rewind it. What did you say just prior to that? There was a significant phrase you said.
It's really a war of the bloodlines, and it's been like that for thousands of years. It's the children of Israel or
Abraham, that was it. I've got it.
And the children of Babylon. The Cabal stem from the children of Babylon, Nimrod, right? Cain. Yes. Children of Israel, which are the original Israelites, not the Jews of today. I'm talking about the original 12 houses that are actually spread all over the world. And and in some cases, I believe that most of them are here in America. Yeah. And of course in Europe, but they say America because America's supposed to be the second Zion. And again, the word Zion means promised land, the land of milk and honey.
The pure in heart, yeah.
The pure in heart. But of course we...
And they hijacked that as well, you know.
Hijacked it as well, yeah. Now it's corporate America, right? Because it's run by the Babylonian cabal.
Well, Zion is 64 in numbers. Mm-hmm. Israel is 64 in numbers, but also American is also 64 in numbers. And in USA, that's embedded in the word Jerusalem. There's talk of, you know, there's a Jerusalem here in England, but there's also Jerusalem in the States. And the other, that was it. So when you said House of David, so house is 68, which is July, which is the date that the first house is what Diana's birthday is. 140, the Apprentice, the Trumps, the Quantum, Tom numbers, it all adds up. But if you do House of David, that comes to 129, which comes to priesthood, comes to Judgment Day and Terminator 2. Mm-hmm. But it also comes to you, it comes to ISMAEL PEREZ. So it's interesting that you brought that up. And if you do the House of David, it comes to 162, which comes to Trumpology. I met Ivanka Trump on the 162nd day of the year in 2015 in New York, in Manhattan. Manhattan's 92 numbers. And if you do 162 day, so day is 30, if you add that together, that's 192, which is Ivanka Marie Trump. And the picture behind, there was a building, there was a sign of a building. It was called Delmonico Plaza. That's 146 Ivanka Trump. That's in the picture behind me and Ivanka. So, and it's New Jerusalem 146. So all those things tied up. It's like, how does that happen? These synchronicities, it's like that, but you know, the things in the matrix are prompting the good signs, the good things. And you know, we're in a time of signs and wonders. But if you do 162 again, that comes to the Holy Ghost, the priesthood. But it also comes to, and you mentioned this line already, the Kennedys, it comes to Robert F. Kennedy. And he's now, in my opinion, it looks like we're going to see Trump and RFK kind of, they're on the same side, but there's going to be two on the good side pretending to battle it out, you know, and there'll be lots of truth revealed during all that, you know.
Yeah, what they're doing is they're taking the same methodology that the cabal has been using for the last 100 years, because you know both the Republicans and the Democrats are corrupt by the cabal. So it's like two sides working for the same coin, making us think that they're battling each other. It's like the wrestlers watch wrestling, right? It's fake. They battle it out, and then afterwards they go have dinner together. And as friends. But the whole point is the white hats are doing the same tactics.
Exactly.
They're using Robert Kennedy to infiltrate the Democratic Party, which is they already used, you know, Trump to infiltrate the Republican Party, which was, and now they're securing the 2024 elections. That's only if, because I heard by a little birdie, you know, Mr. Brandon, that the Bronson case is actually was overturned. By you know, the election was overturned because it was I guess it was passed by the Supreme Courts, and Congress was able to really take a closer look at it, and they realized that that they pretty much stole, 2000, what happened 3 years ago.
The vote,
So
the
House of
competition.
so the House of Reps impeached them 2 days ago. 2 days ago, this is what I'm hearing, that Brandon was impeached 2 days ago. So it might not even be to the 2024 election. We might see Trump in office within the next couple weeks. I hope so. But that's only if they, if this goes through. But this is what I heard. I hope it's correct. I'm not saying it's definite, but again, we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens.
What happens.
That's going to be great news, right? If Brandon gets impeached, and all of a sudden, him and his family, which, by the way, even his wife and kids, they've all were investigated, and they all have ties. And I think that we're going to see them all get arrested if this goes through, and that is my hope, because we need some sort of miracle. We can't wait to 2024.
I agree.
Technically, it's like, come on, how much more can they squeeze the life out of us?
We do. That's one of the trump cards, I think, the island. I think that's gonna. There's many that are gonna hit all simultaneously, and it's interesting in the numbers because you know biblical stuff. So in the last book of the Old Testament is Malachi, and there's Malachi chapter 3 verse 10, and it talks about Nasara Jasara. It talks about the windows of heaven being opened unto the people from God. And I got a code in the newspaper. I did a video on it, and I did a whole bunch of numbers around Jasara Nasara with President Trump and RFK. And I don't know if I should have it in it. Have I got the picture here that you can see? Let's have a look. See if I've got it. I've got 140 video files, images on this phone. I haven't got it, unfortunately. I thought I did. Oh no, here I do have it. So Malachi 3:10. So I always look at this reference of 3:10. So this is interesting. If you do Donald J. Trump, that's 148. Time Traveler, Simple Gematria. Emmett Brown from Back to the Future. If you do Robert F. Kennedy, it's 162, which is the House of David, which I've just discovered talking to you. It's the priesthood, it's the Holy Ghost, it's Trumpology, it's Trump Gematria. It's the day that I met Ivanka, 162nd day of the year. Anyway, you add them together, that comes to 310. Guess what day of the year next year is 310?
July 1st.
You're thinking along the right ways. Yeah, it's actually it's the election day. It's November 5th.
Oh, really?
So normally, because it's a leap year, it's day 310 because there's the extra day in February. But usually it's 309, and 309 comes to the shot heard around the world. And it's like, what's shot? Shot is Queen. The Queen heard around the world. Who's the Queen? Who's come? Anyway, but because it's a leap year and they do things mega on leap years, so 2012 we had the Olympics in London, and we had the soft reveal of all what's going to happen in 2020. You had all imagery of Boris Johnson, you had beds, you had like kind of gruesome, kind of dark characters dancing around the hospital bed. You had a thing that looked like a virus. You had all those symbolism at that, and I thought something was going to kick off then, and I think a lot of it got stopped, but they still let the symbolism run. Next 4 years, 2016, Trump gets into office. Brexit happens, and by the way, in numbers, Ishmael, Brexit is 78 Kennedy. So for 3 years, all we heard in the world was Brexit, Brexit, Brexit. Was actually saying Kennedy, 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 which is Genesis, Genesis, Genesis as well.
Right.
Genesis is the start, 78. Exodus is the next book, 88 Trump. So it's all there. And we also saw all the deaths of all those famous celebrities. I think a lot of them went into witness protection. There's something that happened really wacky in England was Leicester City won the Premier League. They were the lowest team in the top division. They nearly got relegated to the lower, the league below the year before. Then they won the Premier League that was never going to happen ever. And then they nearly got relegated the following year in 2017. So that was a wacky year. The next 4 years, we went into 2020, and that's the biggest thing with the lockdowns and the corona that we'd ever seen. President Trump has been saying the final battle is 2024. It sounds like a Narnia. You've got the last battle. He's saying it's the last battle, the final battle. I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be 2020 on steroids. I think we'll all be fine.
Yeah,
but it's going to wake up the
it
world,
will.
and all the disclosure is going to happen. 2024 is going to be absolutely off the charts.
Well, that's my original dates that I've been kind of, sharing with you.
Flash, yeah.
Yeah, I've always said 2024 was going to be the changeover. Where we're going to see, it's going to be very prophetic, very biblical. We're going to see a lot of changes that are going to change everything, every level of reality.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, every level of society, from the political system to the educational system, everything's going to be reformed.
Yes.
And I've always saw 2024 as literally, my friend, the beginning stages of the golden age.
Yes.
The golden age, right? Now get this. We're talking about the battle between the bloodlines, right? The house of David and the house of Nimrod of Babylon, which is draconian, reptilian. Think about this. The families that have been in control of this world are not even human, fully human. They're reptilian human hybrids. Okay. They stem from Babylon. They are the children of Marduk Nabu. Why do you think that when we study about the ancient kings of Babylon, they all start with Nabu, Nabonazzar, Nebuchadnezzar, Nabopolassar? Those are all the different kings of Babylon, an ancient Babylon.
And there's Nabu in Star Wars, isn't there? Phantom Menace, Nabu.
So yeah, Nabu, another Sith, right? See, George Lucas was actually drawing from the Akasha records. Now get this, you could actually connect it to the Galactic Wars too. So Nabu was the son of Marduk. Marduk was the son of Enki, right? Enki was half reptilian draconian through his mother, Drami, and half Niberian Pleiadian, which is pretty much half angelic Lyran Syrian through his father Anu. So this whole battle could be traceable to the house of Lyra, of the 12 houses of Elohim, which were the original 12 races that come from the 12 major universes that began in Lyra, right? The house of Michael. Think about it when you think of the lion emblem, the house of David, it's all symbolized by the lion, right? Yeah. So the original Lyrians, the house of Avion, it was known as
people, aren't they?
Cat people. Yeah, the cat people.
Yeah.
And then we could trace the descendants of the Cabal, or rather, I'm sorry, we could trace their ancestry all the way back to Orion, Draco, the Draco star system. So what we're seeing here is this long battle that's been going on for millions of years that is now finally coming to an end in our universe. But if you want to consolidate it in terms of biblical terminology, we could say that it's really ultimately we're dealing with the final war between Michael and Lucifer. Well, who do you think the house of Michael was? The house of what? Elohim, the house of the, that led to the house of David, the house, Jesus, Mary Magdalene, Princess Diana, the Kennedys, the Trumps. And then we also had what? The house of Lucifer, which is the house of Draco. So the house of Lucifer is what we're seeing is the last remnants of the house of Lucifer who know that their time is up. And so that's why when the Bible says, see, I'm not religious, but man, there is a lot of powerful metaphors in that book, my friend. When the Bible says this battle will be taking place here on the earth, they're talking about 2024.
I feel so. I hope so. And it feels like that. Because the other thing, it does. The other thing I was going to say with the prophecy of Malachi 3:10, it describes Nasara Jasara. I did a video on that last week, and then the newspaper, which is this kind of wonderful thing in the what do you call it? The Matrix, not the Matrix, the simulation. This reality, and it feeds back stuff that I've been saying. So I'm always very grateful for it. But so I talked about the windows of heaven being opened among the people, because that's what it says in Malachi 3:10. And the point of 3:10 is it's when you add Donald J. Trump plus Robert F. Kennedy comes to 310 numbers. And guess what date that election is going to be held on? November 5th. And we've always been told in English culture and global culture, remember the 5th of November. And remember comes to 158, which comes to Superman plus Batman. And it's like President Trump has said he's Superman. And then who's Batman? Well, sorry, President Trump has said he's Batman, but then Trump's is also 107 Superman. And it's like, and then you got Batman and Robin. R, I think, in the Q posts is Robert F. Kennedy. It could be Junior as well, but it's definitely Robert F. Kennedy. And so it's like, you've got Batman, Robin, you've got this whole thing of Batman versus Superman. Why did that film come out? But you know, they're on the same side. They're illustrating this whole thing of what's going to happen. And so it comes to 310, and that's the day, the day number in the year of November 5th on the leap year is 310. But then a day or two after, I did that decode, and then this came out on the star. So you see that. Which is Jasara. Nessara is star 58, which is Robin. It's also Ivanka, and we've mentioned her, but it's all there, it's all coded, and it's like, it's brilliant. It's like, there you go. And I sincerely do hope that it's 2024, and I think it feels like it. I mean, President Trump saying it's the final battle, so let's hope, you know, let's hope that that's the case, because yeah, we need, everything comes to an end. Everything goes in cycles, and they do things on leap years. One says they do things on 23 that change the world, and hopefully there'll be massive changes this year. But President Trump is saying 2024 is the final battle. What's, you know, I take him at his word. I always take him at his word, you know.
I think what he's trying to explain or say in that is that based on who wins the presidency of 2024 will have the victory, and will ultimately, as a result of that, will usher in a whole new era. And I think because of the time travel technology that his uncle John inherited from Tesla before the deep state got to it, I'm sure the deep state also were able to develop their own version of time travel. But as we talked about how the Trumps have been time traveling for a while, I think they time traveled in order to secure the victory in 2024. And that's why he's saying, you know, 2024, because I think he knows more than what he shares.
Oh,
I think,
of course.
I strongly believe that he had access to the classified information, but even before that, through his uncle John, I believe that he was also given special, you know, secret knowledge regarding, you know, some of these technologies that exist within the private sector. And I think he's kind of known all along, even before he ran for president in 2016. And if she would have, if the witch would have won that election, you know what would have happened, right?
Yeah.
We would have already been under the NWO.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, we would have been.
So so he totally threw a monkey wrench on that timeline, and I think it has a lot to do with him time traveling. Well, his family really.
Yeah. When you talked about the house of Elohim,
Elohim is the house of Michael. Yeah.
Yeah. Do we spell it Elohim, or is it Lohim?
I think it's Elohim. Elohim.
Elohim, yeah.
Elohim, yeah.
So if that's the case, then Elohim comes to 62, which is Queen, which is shot. So I've mentioned those numbers already. Diana was age 62 yesterday. And if you do House of Elohim, it comes to 151, which is Jesus Christ, which is Lady Diana Spencer, Ivanka Nazareth. So it comes to all that. But also, when you were saying Donald Trump through his Uncle John, so Uncle John comes to 102, which comes to 1,000, hence the 1,000 years of peace, the golden age. It also comes to dimension, comes to gravity, and obviously him and Tesla were working with, you know, the real physics. But if you do Donald Trump through his Uncle John, it comes to, let me just double check. So through his, oh, that's interesting. Donald Trump through law comes to 271, which comes to 1776. But if we do Uncle John, that comes to 373. You talked about November 5th and time travel. So Back to the Future, Marty McFly, which is 136, which is Great Awakening. And Marty is 77 Christ, so he's the Christ figure in that. 148 is Donald J. Trump. Time travel, that's Emmett Brown, so he's the one that's helping, he invented time travel on November 5th, 1955, which actually comes up to 337, which actually comes to Ground Zero, September 11th, or Building 7, September 11th. So there's a lot of stuff with that. And it also comes November 5th, New Yorker Hotel, 337. But if you do 373, and I did a code on that this week actually, 373 comes to 1.21 gigawatts, because in Back to the Future they say that they have to create 1.21 gigawatts of power to make time travel possible, and you have to travel at 88 miles per hour. 88 Trump MPH, 88 MPH is 125 time travel. John Kennedy, 8th Avenue, where the Tesla building is. But yeah, so Donald Trump through his uncle John is 373. So that's perfect. That's another great decode there that you've inspired me to realize there, Ishmael. So thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, I mean, this whole battle is really a war. In terms of the dark side, it's really a war against the Christ. And what is the Christ? Light, life.
Yeah.
That's what the Christ represents. So life and light.
Yes.
Without light, there is no life. All life comes from light.
Yeah. Yeah, confirmed by the music.
That was my son calling.
Well, the tree of life is or live is 48 sun. So yeah, tree 48. There was something else you just said there about everything through light. What was it? Yeah, basically that's it. Light is life. That's what it is. Light is 56. Healing is 56.
So basically, the Trumps, the Kennedys, Diana, they've, and all of their descendancies or their ancestors, I'm sorry, have always been battling the cabal throughout all of history in order to preserve what? Life.
Yes.
In general. Because when you think about it, the ultimate war is against the machine. Because even the draconians are controlled by AI, an alien AI, which I've mentioned in many of my presentations.
Yeah.
So what does AI ultimately want to do? Destroy, right? Destroy life forms, organic life forms as we know it. So that's why the war is really against life, against the organic way of life, better yet said.
Yeah.
Fight the organic ones. And when you think about like all the puppets of the deep state, well, they're now, NPCs and clones for the most part. They don't have any souls, So what we're really...
I meet people like that. I'm meeting people like that. I'm like, I don't think you've got much of a soul. You're a bit like, what's going on? How come you, it's amazing. It's like, it's getting clearer and clearer. It's like, I don't think they've really got a soul. Yeah. NPC.
The next 12 months are going to be very fascinating, my friend.
I agree, totally. You talked about Christ. So this is great. I love it when we do shows because there's always the synchronicities of the stuff you've been doing, I've been doing. They always like dovetail. So Diana, so 77. I did this last night after the tweet I did. So if you do so Christ in numbers comes to 77, which comes to vibrate, it comes to meditate, it comes to matter, it comes to I said vibrate, it comes to some other things as well. Now it comes to hertz, as in frequency, and when JFK, the optics of 63 with JFK above the building, I've seen pictures that there was an advert, Hertz, above the building. Hertz is frequency, Christ. But and who were the two biggest assassinations? It was Christ and JFK. I mean, there's others as well, but they're probably the two biggest public ones that we're kind of aware of in history, you know.
Correct.
And if you do the numbers on President Kennedy's 188, comes to Jesus of Nazareth, 188, Close Encounters, 188.
It's the same bloodline.
It is the same bloodline, yeah. Yeah.
And it's repeating itself, because what did JFK wanted to do? He wanted to what? Undo the Federal Reserve, undo the oil cartel, the pharmaceutical companies. He wanted to literally undo the entire cabal infrastructure, from controlling our government. And the moment he was going to do that, that's when they took him out. And that's exactly what Christ was trying to do 2,000 years ago, except he was in a position of power. He was just more of a spiritual leader, teaching people about ascension and personal power, and personal liberation through the attainment of Christ consciousness.
Yes.
And when you think about it, it's just history repeating itself. Same bloodline. They're martyrs. I think I'm saying it right. But
martyrs. Martyrs.
Yeah, they've always been martyrs. When you think of the Inquisitions of the Dark Ages, the Catholic Church, which is cabal run, right? They've always been cabal run. They went on a expedition to kill off as many mystics and saints, who were associated with the lineage of Christ.
Yeah. You're talking about that with Christ and the consciousness, and so if you do Christ consciousness, that's 252, which comes to it actually comes to November 5th, that key date again, and it comes to Diana Spencer. It also comes to Melania Trump, Diana Spencer, Christ consciousness 252, and people say that they're interchangeable. But also the word consciousness comes to 175. So if you do if this is the beauty of the numbers. So I was talking about Christ, 77 hertz, 77 vibrate, 77 matter, 77 quasar. Some people say quasars, 77. Anyway, if you do that, if you spell out 77, so 70 is 110, which comes to president, comes to Marylebone in London. I lived there for a while. But it comes to magic power. So Christ obviously had a magic power. Comes to the Christ. But 110 spells the word 70. And then 7 in numbers comes to 65, which comes to doves. It comes to Avalon, okay? So you could say the magic power Avalon. You could say the magic power doves. You could say the Christ doves. They all come to, when you spell it out, 77 in numbers comes to 175, which comes to the word consciousness, which also comes to Diana Frances Spencer. And so again, her whole connection with the Christ and being Christ and Christ bloodline, it's all there, it's all there. Even you talked about Star Wars. So Star Wars is 119, which is Nikola Tesla, which is redemption. Luke Skywalker is 174, which is Supreme Court, which is real Donald Trump. But Anakin Skywalker, his father, the good version, is 175. And you see Anakin Skywalker at the end of Return of the Jedi as a figure of consciousness. And Anakin Skywalker comes to 175, which comes to the word consciousness, which comes to Diana Frances Spencer. It comes to all of these things, all the popular culture, all the historical narratives, all the Christ line, the bloodline. Bloodline's 88, Trump, all of it. It all adds up. It all adds up, and it's just amazing how it all adds up,
Exactly.
But yeah, Christ, Diana, 77, the 2 7s, spell it out, 175, consciousness, Diana Frances Spencer, Yeah, the bloodline.
Yep, they've been trying to eliminate this bloodline for thousands of years. And even before the Christ, my friend, they were trying to eliminate the bloodline. in ancient times.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know who deposited the bloodline to the earth? You know who was Michael's descendant?
Who?
Zeus.
Ah, Zeus, yeah. Zeus.
Zeus. Yeah. He also went by the name of Enlil, but to the Greeks, he was Zeus. He was the chief guardian of the earth during Atlantean times.
So Zeus, so Z-E-U.
Think about
S.
Zeus. Hey, Zeus, Jesus, Zeus,
Yeah.
hey, Zeus.
Jesus, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
And then some people believe that Jesus was the incarnated Zeus himself,
yeah.
because when they were expecting this promised Messiah in ancient times before the incarnation of Jesus, they were really thinking it was going to be Apollo, the son of Zeus. But when the reason why the Jews didn't believe that he was the Christ was because they were expecting a Superman figure, a God-like man, 6'2" Adonis, ripped six-pack and muscles, coming from the sky like Thor with thunder, that would
Yeah.
just overthrow the Roman Empire. But he came, you know, like in the body of Jesus, who was not warlike, who was not superhuman, who was more, who was humble, and so that's the reason why the Jews never believed in Jesus as the Christ, because they were expecting Apollo, the son of Zeus.
Yeah. And you know what Zeus comes to in Numbers? Comes to 71, which is a mirror reflection of 17. Q, and if you do 17 plus 71, comes to 88, Trump again. But 71 in and of itself comes to Lady Diana. So it's like these bloodlines, whether they were female or male at the time, I don't know how that all works per se, but the numbers add up. And if you do that, you said, oh, Jesus was Zeus. So if you do Jesus was Zeus, comes to 188, which comes to Jesus of Nazareth, which comes to President Kennedy. So, they tally up again, Ishmael. They tally up again. Tallies up again.
Yeah.
And the other thing about that is when the coronavirus descended, I think we can talk about that now, but coronavirus is 155, the millennium, the 1,000 years of peace. Brexit, 78, Kennedy. Genesis, beginning, But then if you do the coronavirus, it's 188, which comes to President Kennedy, which comes to Jesus of Nazareth. So everybody kept hearing the coronavirus, It's like, well, it's 188. And it's also Close Encounters, which is the alien element, the reveal, It's like all of those things. And even the money, the reset, the change, the Jasara and Asara, that comes to 188, show me the money. So all these things they're all there. President Kennedy's there. Talking to presidents. So if you do this, when I said 373 comes to Donald Trump through his uncle John, comes to 373, which comes to 1.21 gigawatts, which is the amount of power needed to make the time travel happen. This is fascinating. So if you do 373, you take away 198, which is President Trump, you're left with 175, which is consciousness. So President Trump consciousness is 373. Diana Francis Spencer, 175, President Trump, is also 373. So is that an indication that she's married to Trump? Will she be a president at some point? The Simpsons have predicted that Ivanka will be president at some point. But maybe that's just a direct reference to President Trump, i.e. Donald, and Diana Francis Spencer, 175, consciousness. The resurrection consciousness comes to 373. 373 is a palindrome number. It's a 37 and a 73, and it's a beautiful number because it's a mirror reflection in and of itself. But that comes to resurrection. The resurrection consciousness is 373. There's all these things that are they're like fractals of joy. Fractals of joy, my friend. That's what they are.
And that's what you are, my friend. And all the
cheers. Thank you, buddy. So are you.
And all the warriors are of light out there. We are part of the White Hats, by the way. Every single person out there who is dispersing the truth, speaking their truth, exposing, the corruption and lies, is a member of the family of light.
Yes, definitely.
So we are all here in the battle against darkness, in an effort to preserve life and light, which is the Christ. And that's what we all are. Every single one of us is the Christ. That's why I
Yeah.
wear my crucifix.
There you go.
Not
Yeah.
religious or anything, but I love the symbology behind the crucifix. Reminds me of who we are and why we're here.
Yeah, definitely. And the other thing is, so the cross is 74 in numbers, which is gematria, which is Jesus. So you've got the cross of Christ or the cross of Jesus. It's a reminder, 74, and it's the language we're conversing in, English. So gematria 74, Muhammad 74, Messiah 74, uniting all the the Abrahamic families. So you've got Christians, Jews, Muslims. They all come from Abraham, and they all have the same value, 74. It's like, oh, it's just a coincidence. It's like, yeah, okay. It's all there. It's all there. Even tarot 74. So with the mystic and esoteric, methodologies and language, they all come to the same thing. 74. DeLorean, the time machine, it's all 74. But cross is 74, which is Jesus 74. Gematria 74. Yeah, it's all there.
We are soldiers of the Christ consciousness here on the earth.
I like that, buddy. I like that. Soldiers with an S is 101, which is immortal, which is Durdle Door, which is a portal here down in England. It's portals, is rainbows, because there's good rainbows, and it's also I was listening to a song today about we're all rainbows. It's in a dance track anyway, but also it's Melchizedek. So soldiers is Melchizedek 101, and you said we're soldiers of light, yeah? Soldiers of light. Soldiers of Light is 178. That's the emergency broadcast. Interesting.
Yes. We're pretty much priests. We're part of the Melchizedek order. That's what we are.
Yes. Yeah.
The priesthood of light.
Well, priesthood is 129, ISMAEL PEREZ. Order. What's order? Order. Order of Light, did you say? No, order of Melchizedek, yeah?
Order of Melchizedek, yeah.
Yeah. So order of Melchizedek. Order of Melchizedek's 182, which is Diana's birthday yesterday is 182, 182nd day of the year in a non-leap year, which was yesterday. She's born on the 182nd day of the year, July 1st, which is Order of Melchizedek, which is also flux capacitor, and you need the flux capacitor to time travel in Back to the Future. Yeah, amazing. Amazing. And also, it's the day before, 182 is the day before November 5th. So if you rev up the flux capacitor on November 4th, and you go back and do a massive time change on November 5th, it's all kind of sequential, So, and why, let's get this one. Why are two songs in popular culture from Guns N' Roses and from Prince? Prince is 65 Doves, Avalon. Guns N' Roses is in Terminator 2. And you see it when Arnold Schwarzenegger pulls out the gun against the T-1000 and he shoots. Do you notice the bit where the gun comes out and it's in a rose box? So that's a nice little bit in the film. Pull out the shotgun and it's in a rose box. So the rose drops and the gun comes out, and then they're playing Guns N' Roses in the background. Anyway, that's a nice bit of kind of movie trivia. But what was I talking about before that? I've interrupted myself. What was I talking about before? What was it?
You were talking about Guns N' Roses and Prince.
Yes, thank you. Thanks, buddy. So, two of their famous songs, each one, you've got Purple Rain and you've got November Rain. Now, Purple is 88 Trump, so Purple Rain. Rain is 42, which is new. Rain. It's just like bring in the rain, Rainmaker, So that's 130, which is the Kennedys. November Rain is 136, which is Marty McFly, which is Great Awakening. but you add them together is 130 at 136. It's 266, which actually comes to Terminator times 2. That's Terminator simulation, or White House simulation. But the point is, if we look at this focal point of this November election in 2024, November rain, what's that about? It's November. It's not April rain. It's not December rain. It's November rain. And then the other similar song,
Excuse me,
with a similar kind of title, is Purple Rain.
Mhm.
So Purple Rain and November Rain are two classic songs in pop, in music history, from two great artists, Prince and Guns N' Roses. I bumped into Axl once, actually at a nightclub. He was there with his ex-girlfriend, Stephanie Seymour, had his cornrows. But
excuse me.
bless you, buddy. So you're getting this thing, you're confirming this download.
If I have some tissue paper, I guess I don't.
Bless you. A
Thank you.
tissue, we'll all fall down. But the point is, why is there, so there's November rain and then there's purple rain. Purple is 88 Trump.
Mhm.
So Trump rain, but then there's November rain. And are they saying there's the rain, but are they also talking about reigning, like kind of reigning as a ruler or as a king, or, and it's like, that could be, you might see purple rain, November rain. The other thing about it is when you've got JFK and you've got Donald J. Trump, and you've got Robert F. Kennedy, add them together is 310. That comes to the date of the election in November. But if they're Democrats, oh, you're all right, buddy.
Sorry.
That's all right.
I'm
If
getting
they're
another call.
Democrats,
I don't know.
can you hear me?
I'm sorry.
I'm just saying, if they're Democrats are,
Yeah, I can hear you.
blue and Republicans are red, but when you blur those two colors, red and blue, you create purple. So you could create a new party, a new way to go into the millennium, and that would be purple rain, but it would happen in November because that's when that happens. You see. So I think it's interesting that both of those two famous songs talk about rain. One is a date and one is a color, but they coincide with Trump. You blur Republican red with blue, a Democrat, and that creates the new color, which is purple, which is 88.
Which is
And
what's happening
November.
with
Yeah.
Robert Kennedy and Trump.
Yeah,
Whoever wins, I mean, the whole purpose is to,
I think they'll say, I think Trump will win, and they'll go, "Hey, Robert, why don't we just dissolve this and just start something fresh together? What do you say, buddy? Come and join." He did it on The Apprentice. He did that on The Apprentice once. What's that?
I wouldn't be surprised if they just say if it comes down to just them two, because the deep state's going to try to put their stooges, their puppets also in the race. So depending on how good they are able to knock out all the other puppets, I think at the end, when it's just, if it boils down to just them two, I think they're just going to join forces, and one of them's just going to end up being the vice president.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And that would be the end of the two-party systems as we know it, bringing us back to what?
Yeah.
No
It will
party
be
system.
America first.
Exactly.
Because America first, Trump always says America first. That comes to 122, which comes to millennium. 122, which comes to Kansas City, actually, which is interesting. But and that's some prophecies for the millennium there. But imagine if they did this. So in The Apprentice TV show that he did that once. There's a guy that won the show, and he gave him the chance, and the guy actually failed the test, but he said, "Well, this girl was just as good as you, but I picked you as the winner. Would you like to share your victory with her?" And the guy, to his own detriment, was like, "No, I have to be the winner." And Trump was like, "Really? Okay." So I could see him foreshadowing that, but saying, "Actually, you know what? We're both the winner. We're going to make this new party. We're going to scrap both ends, and it's going to be America first, with purple in color, and off we go. November rain, purple rain."
Makes a lot of sense. Yeah, because the cabal from the beginning, this whole two-party system was really a trick to not even a trick. What was it? It was imposed by them to just limit the amount of independents who wanted to run on their own without
Yeah,
being associated with one or the other. So in a way, it was a way for them to pretty much control the country with, you know, the puppet to the right or the puppet to the left.
yeah,
But the founding fathers' original vision was not about a two-party system. It was about a what? About independent voting
yeah,
system, a no-party system where many could come to the table and just discuss their differences and their ideas as to how to make the country better and how to really best serve the people. Because the true meaning of a democracy is government serving the people. It's not the
yeah.
other way around. It's people serving the government. But that's my idea. You know, I think that Mr. Kennedy and Mr. Trump are going to completely abolish the two-party system if it comes down to them too.
I like that. So get this as well, Ishmael. Just discovered this. Are you all right there, buddy?
Yeah, I am. I'm just battling some allergies. Again,
It's the sun. Well, no, the sun's good. It's the pollen and all the rest of it. So
yeah, I have
going back,
in the background, but I'm really there's a bunch of flowers and plants and trees around me.
brilliant, man. So get this. Whoa, where are you?
I fell from the galaxy. Here I am.
You're like in a pop video. It's like you're just disappearing and coming back again. It's fun. So get this, but this just came to me. I hadn't figured this out until just now. So November rain comes to 130. Yeah, sorry. November rain comes to 136. Purple rain comes to 130. You add them together, gets you to 266. Is that right? Hang on, have I done this right? Maybe I haven't. Hold on. Sorry, bear with me a second. No, that's not it. Hang on. There's something in that though. 136, November rain. Okay. Take away 369, gives you 103. 236 and 133. 266. Bear with me, sorry, buddy. Okay. It does. Okay. This is interesting. Okay. So if you do November rain, which is 136, Great Awakening. If you do purple rain, which is 130, which is also 77 if you spell it in numbers, it's also the Kennedys, added together comes to 236. I was talking about the simulation, which is 133, which is also White House, 133, which is also government. And they talk about Christ's government in the future, you know, the millennial government.
Yeah, well, that government's going to be more of a self-government.
Yeah,
where everyone
just your Christ consciousness, a self, you know, you govern yourself. Yeah,
exactly.
but if you look at the numbers on this, so in Back to the Future, it talks about next Saturday night, we're going back to the future. And I've been looking at a significant Saturday on a November 5th. We've had that already, but that's passed. But if we do the election of November 5th is on a Tuesday, if you fast forward 17 days into the future, 17 days later, so November 5th plus 17 is November 22nd, which is JFK. So if you fast forward to that date, the day immediately after is the 23rd. And this is a replica of the events of 1963. So Kennedy was assassinated on a Friday, which is 63. It was the year of 63. 63 plus 63 is 126, which is a time travel or time travel one, or John Connor, Sarah Connor from the Terminator movies. But if you add the 133, which is simulation, which is government, which is White House, so this new thing of a White House, takes you to 399, which comes to day 369. Now, there's a 369 next to this, which is the day after. So if you do November 22nd, if you do Saturday, November 22nd, it comes to 369 in numbers. So I'm wondering if that is a relation to that, that maybe, because you talk about the 10 days of darkness, but maybe it's 17. Maybe it's 17 days of revelation, of revealing, and takes you up even to the 18th day. 18 is R. It takes you up to there on the 23rd. So November 20th. You do Saturday, November 23rd. Saturday is 109, which is 17. It takes you into the Back to the Future stuff, but it takes you to 369, which are the Tesla numbers, and day 369 comes to 399, which would be Purple Rain plus November Rain plus simulation or White House or government in this instance. That would be 399, which is 369 plus the word day, which is 30, day 369. So maybe we'll see what happens, but I do think it's going to be wacky in 2024. And there's a reason they worded all these things in the films in certain ways, you know. There's a reason for it all, and I haven't worked all of them out, but there's a correlation. All these things correlate, and the more you look into it, the more correlations you get. But I hadn't seen that one before until just then. So maybe we'll see.
We could only hope so.
Exactly. Let's hope, buddy. Well, it's been a lot of fun, man. It's been really good. How can people find you, buddy?
Under the cosmicarts.com. It's my website where you could access all my social media platforms, my classes, my online classes, and of course, my new edition for my book. And I'm going to be also releasing the audio version in the next 24 hours. So what I could do is to give you the link for that, where there's actually a special QR code where people could actually get it for free. This is only for new members who don't have the Prime, who don't have the membership.
We just talked about Q and R, 17 days and then 18, which is QR code. Code is 27 JFK.
Well, see, everything happens for a reason. So this is the thing. If people click on the QR code that I give them, they're going to get my audio version for free. And as long as they sign up to become, they get a 30-day trial to become a member of Amazon. But then at the end of the 30 days, they could cancel and just not pay anything, and they still got my book for free. Okay. So it all works out.
And that's the audio book, yeah?
So, you know, that's the audio book, yeah. So that way people can just listen to it. It's about 11 hours long.
Are you the one reading it?
No, it's not my voice. I had to hire somebody else to do it for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, that's exciting to listen to. Yeah, that'd be good. That'd be good. Yeah. All right, my man. Well, that's amazing. QR code. Q17. I said 17 days later, takes to November 22nd. But literally the day after, it's Saturday. That's the 18th day. R and code is 27 JFK. You do QR code. It comes to 62, which is Queen, which is shot, and the shot heard around the world is 309, but on the leap year it's 310 because November 5th. And Dinah was 62 years of age yesterday. So
Happy
July
birthday
1st is 140. What's that, buddy?
Happy birthday to the real Queen of England.
There you go. Exactly. Happy birthday, Dinah. Yeah.
Line of King David, of course.
Exactly. All right, my friend. God bless you. It's always fun, Ishmael. We always have a great time. Yeah. I'll see you soon, man. Enjoy. Yeah, see you next time.
Have a good one.
Take care, buddy.
Bye.
Bye. We're still recording. Ishmael's gone. I forgot to say, click the links below. Make sure you're subscribed to my locals channel. When you become a member of the locals community, it's free to do. You actually enter your email address, and that effectively gets you on my email list, which allows us to keep in touch because of all the shenanigans that go on. So it's really important. Get on my email list, become a free member on locals. You'll get free content there. You also get the chance to purchase a subscription if you want, and you'll get News with Tom numbers. You'll get most of my videos will be up there free before they go elsewhere, and it will be all uncensored as well, which is really important. So thanks for everyone that's joined, and thanks for those that are about to. All right, everyone. God bless. See you soon. And also check me out on Twitter. I'm very active on there as well. All right. Take care. Bye.